Gyroids. You've heard the complaints all over Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, and probably even Facebook, if you use that gyroids are missing from New Horizons. You nod and smile, and have no idea what the heck the fuss is all about. You've seen Lloyd around when you build a bridge or an incline, but you don't understand what's so special about them or what the heck these things even are. Gyroids are a character that have been in the Animal Crossing series since the beginning. They've had a few different roles throughout the games until New Horizons, where currently only one appears. These gyroids are based off of actual ancient Japanese traditions. The in-game gyroids are the developer's take on haniwa, which are figures made and buried with the dead during funerary rituals. The haniwa were usually placed in a circle as a boundary around the gravesite. More modern culture has even portrayed the haniwa as containing sentient energy inside of the hollow sculpture. They were thought to protect the deceased from the supernatural world. So, naturally, Nintendo threw them in a kid-friendly game. Yay! Gyroids were furniture items that appeared in past Animal Crossing titles. Most commonly, they were beat-making furniture that played in tune with any music you had playing in your house. The name gyroid is derived from gyrate or gyro, based on the way the item moves. There were dozens of these gyroid variations available. They varied in size, pitch, sound effect, and tempo. There were different families of gyroids as well, and the members of these families all had similar sound effects, but varied by the size of the gyroid and their pitch. Properly based on the haniwa traditions, players found the gyroids buried in the ground, indicated by those star-shaped cracks that you find now in New Horizons. They would only spawn after days when it rained or snowed. Any other day, you would only find fossils buried. In previous games, there was a limit on how many gyroids the player could have active at one time in their house. In the original Animal Crossing, the limit was 14, City Folk it was 8, and Wild World and New Leaf were down to 4. Once the limit was reached and the player activated an additional gyroid, one would become still and stop playing so that the new one could become active. All gyroids sell for 828 bells. If you didn't want to display or store them, they were a pretty good moneymaker. You could find up to 3 gyroids buried in one day. Gyroids have been special characters throughout the series as well. The first one appeared in the original Animal Crossing game. Here is your gyroid butler and was stationed right outside your house. You could perform multiple tasks with this gyroid, from listing items for sale, changing an away message, customizing your house door, and saving your game. He was cute. He stood still while you were far away, but when you started making your way towards him, he would start wiggling really fast, kind of like a dog. He's such a good boy. Lloyd is the gyroid you're probably most familiar with. He's been in the series since City Folk, starting out as an auctioneer working in kind of a similar way that the gyroid in the GameCube Animal Crossing did, with being able to list items for sale and allowing friends who visited your town to purchase them. He also acted as storage for the player. In New Leaf, Lloyd changed professions and became a construction worker by collecting donations for public works projects. Once you picked out where in town you wanted the project to be built, Lloyd would appear and collect donations towards the funding of said public works project. He also appeared at Tortimer Island and is the go-to gyroid for tools to use on the island. Apparently he can transport in the blink of an eye to a beautiful island. Give me that power, man. Come on. In Pocket Camp, Lloyd hosts the Shovel Strike Quarry, which is a minigame where the player destroys rocks to find the best gems and receive crafting materials as a reward. At the time of posting this video, Lloyd's only duty is similar to one of his duties in New Leaf. He collects donations for the construction of bridges and inclines. This is the only appearance of gyroids in New Horizons. Hence why fans are utterly disappointed. Well, except, we have Coco. She resembles a gyroid and definitely contains sentient energy. But she's cute, sentient energy. Look at her. Aw. I miss gyroids. They're one of Animal Crossing's mascots. They even made it as a player piece in the Nintendo Collector's Edition of Monopoly. My brother used to load up his basement with these things. It was like a maze of gyroids. We would all enter his house and turn off and on different ones just to mess with them. Good times. I was very shocked when buried gyroids didn't reappear in New Horizons. Currently, you can only dig up fossils. It's too predictable. The gyroids were a nice surprise every now and then. I have my fossil exhibit completed, and once I finish up the Nook Miles goal of assessing 500 fossils, there really won't be any point in me digging up the star cracks, except to make a little extra money, but again, I don't really need it. Spoiler time! Skip to the timestamp on the screen to avoid data mine information that I'm about to talk about. The timestamp link is in the description for easy clicking. You have been warned! There isn't too much data mine information on gyroids, but there are 2 different updates given to us by Ninji. In April, he tweeted that there was evidence of a gyroid section along with 2 museum upgrades. One is the art section, which we already have, and the other contains the museum shop and cafe, which happens to include a gyroid section. A couple months later, there was a second update that added more data mine information that includes a new gyroid item. And that's it. Just those 2 pieces of information. So is that enough to indicate that they will turn up, and soon? It makes sense that they would be added to the cafe. It's common knowledge that Brewster is a huge fan of gyroids. In City Folk, he talks about it a bit if you talk to him enough. He even offers to store your gyroids for you, so they don't take up room in your own storage. Gyroids can be seen in the cafe in New Leaf, and there are even Brewster gyroids that are available as furniture items. It's a pretty safe bet to say that gyroids and Brewster have a very good chance of appearing simultaneously. What would be the role of gyroids in New Horizons if they were to be added? I could see them being added as an item that can be found buried in the ground and dug up on days after it rained or snowed, since that's how it's been found up until now. We have ample room in our houses to put them on display, but this is a game where you can place furniture outside. So how would the gyroids work outside? Would it be the same as how they work inside in the past? I could see them matching up to a nearby stereo playing music. The stereos seem to have a specific distance where you can hear the music playing, but what about the ones that you don't put near a stereo? It would be cool if it played along with the hourly music. Personally, random beats not in line with the music playing in my ear would be completely unsatisfying. I don't expect to see more gyroid special characters. I think Lloyd's the only one we'll get, and he'll keep the role of assistant to the donation collection manager. Unless we get some minigame function in the future, then I could see him being the host of that. I'd like to see more gyroids. They're super nostalgic and just scream Animal Crossing. And actually scream, just look at them. Don't they just scream so loud in your head? Would you like to see gyroids return to New Horizons, or are these things just too much for you? What mechanics would you like added with them? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe or Amiibo Festival will be ported to the Switch, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Can you guys hear that? It's violent. Why is that so violent? Oh my god.